I have to say, I was disappointed in your remarks. I thought they were very politically charged. And to say that only politically connected folks are the ones that are receiving preference in our subsidies, it ignores the facts. And it also ignores the role that the states play. And individual states in our country themselves give a number of tax credits to different industries. For example, there's an oil company in Pennsylvania that in 2012 received $1.65 billion in tax credits. So it seems that because we don't have an energy policy in our country, or at least a national energy policy, that the states and the federal government seem to, every Congress or every state legislature will pick which industries will support their regional economies or national agenda at the time, but there's nothing that seems to be uniform. And also to say that the President is not pro-science because he supported subsidies also, I think, doesn't help the debate. It just divides us further. And, I think, Mr. Woolf, I want you to expand on talking about all of the above, because it sounds like we can find as many winners as possible when we have an all-of-the-above approach. And we can also root out the industries that aren't going to work. And doesn't that seem like a better way to allow us to explore what is going to drive and power our energy economy?
I think that's exactly right. The nation has a tremendous amount of strengths in all our different regions, in all our different states. They can all contribute something different to our overall energy mix. And that's part of what the advanced energy economy brings to the table, is we've got in our group all different technologies. And what binds them together is they all recognize that the energy system of the last 100 years is fading away. The model of centralized generation distributed on a one-way wire is pre-internet. In this connected world, we've got smart grids, distributed generation, demand-side technologies. We no longer have the old energy grid. And in order to be competitive in the 21st century, we need a 21st century energy system that's going to be driven by innovation, and that's what we're suggesting that Congress consider with our principles today.
And do you see a role for tax credits, not just for renewables, but also for other sources of energy?
Absolutely. I think we should be applying the same standard to all technology, wherever innovation is needed. And then it should sunset and expire once that technology is mature and it's no longer needed.
I'd like to address some of the things that you mentioned that I said. First of all, in terms of political cronyism, I didn't come up with the number, but a study came up with the number that it was 60%. Now, I didn't mean that it's 100%. My written testimony indicates that. Furthermore, I wanted to mention about the states. There's an example that I have in my testimony about a wind farm, Shepherd's Flat in Oregon. That wind farm was a $1.9 billion project. The amount of subsidies that are allocated to it are $1.2 billion. That's 65%. The sponsors only put 11% of equity in, and their return is 30%. Pretty amazing. But a good portion of those subsidies are state-related. And in fact, the authors of the memo, which include Summers, Kane, and Browner, all members of the administration at that time in 2010, indicated that this project would have gone on anyway just because of the state subsidies, and that the federal subsidies weren't needed, that private funding would have been provided for the project.
But Ms. Hutzler, wouldn't you agree that subsidies are being provided industry-wide? It's not only limited to renewables, that oil and gas also receive subsidies and tax credits. And oftentimes, those subsidies and tax credits don't have a great return on investment either.
As I mentioned before, most of the what oil and gas are getting are tax deductions that are going mainly to the independent producers. Other than that, there are also manufacturing credits that are gotten, and the oil and gas industry pays less than other manufacturers do in terms of, the deduction they get is less than what other manufacturing companies get. So these aren't apples. These are apples and oranges, essentially. We're not comparing the same types of subsidies.
If it was up to you, would the government have any role in subsidies, tax credits, or incentives to solve our energy solutions?
Well, certainly right now, I think we have bigger problems than trying to figure out how to subsidize things that just aren't competitive in the marketplace.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, Madam.